What's up guys, Bluntguts here. I'm doing another Watch Over Realms video for you today, and today I want to talk about Gear Raid 1 and specifically this new team comp that I put together in the last 24 hours. It's really helped me be a lot more efficient as far as the time it takes to farm up points. As you can see, I am, I've got about 4 times as many points as there, 3 times as many points as the next lowest person here, and that's not really because of this comp. That's more just about resource investment, but I was able to accumulate those points a lot more quickly than I would have been able to previously, because this new team, it actually clears Gear Raid 121 about a minute and a half faster on 1x speed than I was able to previously. And the reason it's able to do that is because I'm able to kill the boss before I kill anything else in there. The boss is the first thing to die. That means that there are no heals going out from the boss, healing up all of those enemies, and that means that you're able to just clear everything so much quicker. It also means that you don't need to have as strong of an AoE team in there. Now, I think you do need Power of Dominance to make this work. Maybe there's at some point in the future, with kind of gear creep, we maybe get to a point where that's not the case and you can do it without Power of Dominance, and this may become a viable progression strategy, maybe with some more champions that come out and some more power creep. But for right now, I think you do need Power of Dominance, so this is really just to speed up the run for those who have already cleared Gear Raid 121. Now, with that said, you might be able to get some progression on 119 or 120 in here with this. I don't know. You'll have to play around with it and see if it works for you. It does require a strong Infernal team, and I was actually able to make this work with both Pyros and with Twin Fiend. I'm going to show you an auto run now with Twin Fiend, and that is going to work. In my experience, it works better with Twin Fiend, but as you'll see, I'm able to get it to work with Pyros as well. I'm going to show you a manual run with Pyros, meaning that as long as you have Zillitu, as long as you have Dolores, and as long as you have Setram, then your Pyros is going to work as well. So yeah, in any case, let me show you the auto run. I do want to give a shout out to my clanmate Yuna, who is the one who actually found this comp. I got some advice from them, and I put it together. But this was their baby, so as far as I know anyway, maybe some other people did it and Yuna got it from them, but Yuna was my source, so thank you so much for giving me this idea and this framework to put this together. Let me show you an auto run and see how it goes here. The way this works is primarily because of the focus fire effect that the Infernal Warlords have. So Twin Fiend is gonna essentially take all of the damage from Zillitu and from Setram, and we're just going to pump it right into the boss. And we're going to be able to use Laurel to get 2 ultimates off before the boss does anything else. And let's see here. There we go. Boss is done. Run is done, as far as I'm concerned. We're going to pop out our Esotericis here, our Boreas, and our, what is his name, Comet, and they are going to just wreck things. I'm going to use Laurel to cycle in and increase their rage. That's going to just really speed up the clear time here, but as you can kind of see, the wall isn't getting really anywhere near enough damage to be a threat. And so if the wall stays up, we're going to be able to clear it no matter what. So, and here we go. Last wave is coming out. What I found is that these are about like a minute and 15-second clears on 3.5 times speed. So if you do have the privilege pass, this is probably going to be more impactful for your farming than for somebody who doesn't. But regardless, this is going to be a faster way to clear the stage than you would be able to otherwise. I do know that there's also a Silas comp that does work with this, where you can use Silas to target the boss. I haven't figured that out yet, I haven't really tried to figure that out yet. This works really well, and I love my Infernals. I love being able to use Twin Fiends, so that's what we're going to go with here. But there you have it, guys. That is at 1 time speed, that's about a 4-minute run. So with 3.5 times speed, a little over a minute. And hey, we got a new piece of gear too. Let's see. I think why not? Yeah, I'll toss some gold into that and see if it rolls up. But hey, in any case, guys, I will be right back. I am going to get into a manual run with you. I'm going to give you a little bit more insight into how this team actually works, and I'm going to show you placements and timings so that you can do this yourself. So enjoy. All right, guys, let's get into a manual run here. I'm going to show you at 1 time speed. Exactly where I'm placing the units, when I'm placing the units, and I'm going to give you a little bit of context as to why I'm placing the units there. You will notice that I am using my A4 Pyros as lead here. The auto run that I did earlier had A0 Twin Fiend as the lead. I do prefer him, and I do think that he does a better job in this situation. At least that's been my experience. It is a little bit more finicky with Pyros, but it is possible and it is doable. So I want to make sure this is as accessible as it can be. I don't think that you can replace Zilla 2 and Setram. Maybe Hex could sub in for one of them, but my guess is that that's not possible because Zilla 2 and Setram both have significantly higher burst than Hex does, even if Hex does do more damage overall than Setram does. So anyway, let's get into it here. I'm going to put it on 1 speed when we start, and I will give you a little bit of context as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. So the first deployment is going to be Setram, and I'm putting him here because that's where I'm going to want to drop Laurel once we get into the AoE stage. So he's going to get despawned eventually, but I'm going to put him in here, and then I'm going to drop Dolores next. And the reason being that my Dolores has an Invigoration set on, so she is going to buff Setram by default. The next deployment is going to be Pyros. It doesn't really matter which way you face him up here. I do want to show you while we're waiting for the cost to generate. Zilla 2 is going to be the next deployment. We need 18 costs for her. So I want to show you the expanded range on Pyros' ultimate and also on Setram's ultimate. That's going to allow us to hit the boss when the boss does come out. It's also important to note that Pyros' ultimate actually has a condition on it where it's going to automatically target the enemy with the highest HP. So in this case, that's always going to be the boss. That's going to allow us to consistently get it on the boss. And so once I deploy Zilla 2 here, we're going to face her up. She's going to get that expanded range, so she's going to hit the boss as well. And we're going to do the ultimate in a very specific order. And I'm going to talk you through it as I go, but it's basically going to be Setram, then Zilla 2, then Dolores, and then finally Pyros. And you're going to want to hit Pyros' right before Setram actually starts his ultimate. Setram needs to be first here because Setram does take a second to actually activate the ult while he does his little like spinny thing. So let's see if I can get this to work. So Setram, Zilla 2, Dolores, and then Pyros. And hopefully I got that right. Let's take a look and see. I am being helped out a little bit here by the Wailing Skull little Shadow Komodo there. Now that I've got enough cost, I'm going to drop in Laurel as well, and I'm going to use her ultimate rather than despawning her first, so that hopefully we can get a little bit of extra rage regen. What you're waiting for here is for Pyros to get up to 50%, which he did. I'm going to despawn Laurel to get that extra 50% rage here, and then we're going to do it again, and here comes Dolores' ultimate to give us some extra damage. You can see Zilla 2 is going to, hopefully, there we go, drop the boss. And now all we're doing here is just we're gonna deploy our AoE team. I'm gonna despawn some of these champions that I don't need anymore. I'll bring them out later to just kind of speed up the run. But for right now, the important thing is just to get a healer out there so that we can make sure that none of these heroes die. And we'll start cleaning up with Pyros and with Boreas. Now I could despawn Setram at this point, but I'm really waiting for Laurel to be able to respawn, so there's really no point. So I'm going to get one more Setram ult in here before I bring Laurel back in and start my Laurel cycling. I also would love to get Dolores back up to max here so that I can get her ult off and she can benefit from Laurel being dropped in as well. So let's see. There, Setram is done. Get him out of there. We are going to drop Laurel in there. And I don't really need to despawn Laurel at this point because Pyros, or it's not Pyros, Comet and Boreas are going to be able to take down these mobs without her help. And as I was saying in my intro, this is not, there's nothing you can do to speed up this stage. There's two things that matter here, is killing the boss quickly and then killing the last wave quickly. And other than that, as long as we keep this wall up, then nothing we do is going to make this run go any faster than it would otherwise. So we're just going to keep concentrating on clearing the mobs as quickly as possible. I am going to try to save up some ultimates before the last wave comes out so that we can clear that as quickly as possible. One thing that you can do here is, so we're going to wait until Laurel finishes her ult. We get as much rage as we can out of that. I'll despawn her. I am going to let's put Venoma in there for a little extra AoE. You can bring in Zillitu and any other fighter you have. I'm using Volca to reduce Laurel's respawn time here. But if you've got fighter units or defender units that you're putting behind this wall, they're not going to get hit by anything, so they don't need heals. So now we've got this last wave coming out. We are going to pop Boreas's ult because he's got that crazy range, and he can start working down these mobs before they even start marching towards us. I'm also going to pop Zillitu's ult, and hey, why not? Well, Volca's got nobody in range, but now that we've got people in range, we're just going to go ham on these enemies. Once these enemies on the side get into the center, I can actually deploy some units on the left-hand side to help us out here. And we've got Laurel back up, so I'm going to drop her back in there. And it looks like we are in a good spot to redeploy her, get this ultimate back up. And I will put Pyros in there for a little extra AoE damage as well. And then I can drop Cetrum over here on the right for just a little added damage, because, you know, why not? And then it is pretty much just auto from this point forward, guys. We're just, you can see these enemies, they go down so much more quickly when you don't have to worry about the boss healing them up to full. It's a much quicker run, and this is by far not going to be my fastest run. My fastest clear is about 4 minutes, as I said before, which if you have 3x speed from the privilege pass is going to get you down to about 115 seconds, or not 150, 1 minute and 15 seconds. It's about 75-second clear times, which is just a massive improvement over what I had before. So, you know, hopefully this helps you out. We are just about done now, and we got this last enemy over here, and there we go. There you have it. So you can see Pyros in there. You may have to play around with it a little bit. The way that this works is going to be kind of dependent on your gear. You may have to kind of tweak some things in order to get it to work. So use this as a template, but it is by no means a finished product. Please iterate and try to find something that works best for your account. And hey, if you find something in the process that is a, you know, an improvement over what I've shown you here, please share it in the comments and let me know. You know, I think that the great thing about games like this is that the whole community can kind of come together and contribute in one way or another. And it's really exciting. So I guess we're going to keep that. That's got decent stats on it. We'll roll it up and see. This I do not need, so we'll get rid of that. Let's go take a look at some of the gearing here, just so I can give you a baseline. My gear is by no means the best, but it is decent, and I think you probably need, at minimum, some stats like this. So I don't think this needs to be Soulbound Arcana, but the speed is important. Also got a Nightmare Samsara in there as his artifact. So that is helpful for getting his rage back up so that you can fit 2 Pyros ultimates inside of 1 Zillitu ultimate. That is important. I probably should have said that while I was doing the run. But you want to make sure that you're getting that increased damage from Zillitu. And Zillitu also has a talent where she stores up extra damage when she's not attacking, which is perfect when the Lord uses that focus fire effect and she's not actively attacking. Let's see here. Where is it? There it is. Empress Might's a passive, not a talent. But charges energy after 3 seconds of not dealing damage, increases damage by 10% per second, up to 50%. The charge energy will be consumed in 1 second, and the damage increase will end. It's important to note that all of my Infernals are actually max skilled, with the exception of Cetrum, who I'm still missing one more skill up in his ultimate. Of course, it's always the last one, right? But anyway, sorry, I jumped away from Zillitu. Let's go back. I can show you the artifact here is a Wailing Skull. It is rank 22, so that does help. You saw the Shadow Komodo come in there and kind of knock down the boss's health a little bit. You don't need this though, and if you have better stats on your Zillitu, that is certainly something that you can, you can kind of mess around with. I can get higher crit damage on her, but I wanted a little bit more attack to kind of counter the boss's defense. I don't know if that's necessary. I haven't really tested significantly back and forth. I know that they both work, so The other way that I have her geared oftentimes is I'll pop this crit damage neck in, and so now you can see she's up around 350% crit damage, and she's got about 16k attack. The other way that I had her in the run that you just saw was with this one on, and so it's actually not even quite crit capped with this, so it's a little inferior that way, but she's only at about 310 or 315 maybe, yeah, 314.5% crit damage, but she does have 18k attack at this point, so you know, you can play around with this gearing, see what works best. But I do know that this works, and I do know that both work actually. So you know, really, whatever you have available. Infernal Roar is going to be important here. That is the best set for Zilla 2, as far as I know. My Setrum is, this is just his Guild Boss gear. Maybe I should have switched in some higher attack on him as well. Maybe that would have smoothed out the run. But you can see the stats here. He's got, I think, just under, it's a 14,241 attack, 364 crit damage, and crit rate 83. If you don't know, Setrum has this skill where if he's attacking the same target, he's going to build up stacks. And you know, honestly, in this case, he's not attacking the boss over and over again. So maybe I would have been better off crit capping him before I put him in there. As you can see, I was able to get it to work. So you do have some kind of play as far as what's going to work for you on here. I do have his exclusive artifact that I picked up in the Frostfall event, was it? I don't remember if it was Frostfall or the Black Friday one, but I picked this up, and that works really well for me. I think you could probably use a Spirit Siphon, I think, Nether Messenger, whatever it's called now. I think that would probably work as well, but this is how I have him set up kind of by default right now, because my Spirit Siphons are on other champions. They are on Hex and on Silas, and I didn't switch them, but they would probably work as well. Let's see. My Dolores has got pretty decent gear. She could use some more rage regen, but she does have high attack. She's at 13.4k attack base, and that invigoration set is going to give her another 10% of her overall attack. So that's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of another 1,300 attack on top of that. I think if you just have a Dolores with all attack percent main stat gear, then I think you're going to be fine. Let's see, Volca is immaterial. She's in an invigoration set as well, but that doesn't come into play here. Really, she's just there to reduce Laurel's respawn time. Laurel, again, another champion that doesn't need to be in fantastic gear. I can show you Venoma. She's in a wisdom set. I just tossed some gear on her. Nothing that you put on her really matters all that much. Comet, he's an Infernal Roar. Not really my best build, but again, the AoE on in this comp, it does not really matter all that much. So if this doesn't work for you, I'm sorry, if you can get the Infernal part to work, then the rest of it is not going to be your issue. You're going to be able to figure the rest out. So you know, just put your best AoE gear out there. This is not my best AoE gear, so you don't even really need to have great gear on the other champions. But as you can see, pretty lackluster here. Only 14k attack. He does have a Tear of Twilight on, which is helpful, but actually only 263 crit damage. I'm usually about 100 higher on crit damage and about 4k higher on attack. So this is not his best gear by any means, but you know, I think that just kind of hammers on the point that you don't really need the best gear. Let's take a look at Boreas. Boreas is in slightly better gear. He's got, what, 15k attack, 330 crit damage. Speed's decent, 291, but nothing crazy here. He does have a nice artifact, a rank 22 Tear of Twilight, which is awesome, but you are not going to need any of that. So I think that's everybody. I didn't look at Elowen's gear, but that's also not important. As long as she can heal everybody, that's really what matters. So I've got her in a Euphoric Orb, but she's not even deployed until after the boss is dead, and once the boss is dead, it is kind of a cakewalk. So yeah, hey guys, I really appreciate you watching. Hopefully this is helpful to you. If you have any insight into how this might be improved, or if you have anything that you want to let me know about, please leave a comment, post something. I try to reply to everything. Yeah, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, guys. Good luck.